let's take a moment to talk about chaotic rap battles. Starting sometime in July of 2012, Chaotic Rap Battles was a series ran by community member Garrett Toller, running for 6 battles before being discontinued in June of 2013, when the channel was then ultimately deleted. The battles themselves had pretty low quality visuals, even for 2012-ish standards, and there were more than a few areas it didn't exactly age the best in.
All the day that you'll never forget. I lie, cheat, steal, and I kill shit. Every time I step to the mic, I spit ocean. Exhaustion me, not even watch me. You wanna battle with me? That's blasphemy.
But for the most part, I and many other community members still consider it to be an entertaining series. Even today, I'd still say it holds up decently well overall, with plenty of snappy writing and solid performances, especially for the time it was made. I guess when your competition is this, you really have nowhere to go but up. For a while, this series was mainly lost media, with only a few re-uploads cropping up here and there, but it wasn't until almost a full decade later that the series came back in full force, with the announcement suddenly popping up in July of 2021, and the series' first new battle releasing in December of the same year. Since then, the series has been going strong, having more battles than its original run, along with vastly improved rapping and production value all around. It was a comeback pretty much nobody expected, but with how well received the new battles have been coming along recently, I'd say it's well deserved. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And that, my friends, is the first and hopefully last of the ham-fisted Star Wars references I'm going to be making throughout this video. Speaking of which, the battle we're talking about today is between two of the most well-known icons in pop culture history, Luke Skywalker, the famous Jedi Master, and Harry Potter, the boy who lived. It's a tried and true matchup that I shouldn't have to explain in any capacity. You know who these two are, you know why they're similar, you've seen everything there is to know about them. It's Harry versus Luke, plain and simple. Released on October 1st of 2022, this is the third battle in the Revival series, and is the 4th most popular battle on the channel overall, sitting at 13,000 plus views as of writing. This battle is one that I feel is worth talking about, not only because I'm personally familiar with both characters and franchises, but also because I want to see how a revival of an old classic series like Chaotic Rap Battles stacks up to today's rap battle standards, seeing what works and what doesn't. And by the way, before we fully get into the review, I want to get this out of the way first. Yes, I am well aware that ERB released their version of the same matchup almost a full 2 years before CRB's version. But given the fact that ERB's version is of a much grander scale while CRB's is fan-made with less than a third of the budget, I'll be fair and refrain from drawing too many comparisons to ERB's version. I might draw a couple comparisons here and there if I feel they're needed, but for the most part, I'll be judging the chaotic version on how it holds up on its own merits as its own battle. Trust me, there's more than enough room for other versions. Let's not waste any more time here. This is Harry Potter vs. Luke Skywalker by Chaotic Rap Battles. Roll it.
Chaotic Rap Battles!
Right off the bat, we're greeted with what sounds like a remix of the Harry Potter theme melody. Apparently the beat to this battle was custom made by Garrett himself, so as you'll hear in a bit, the themes to the beat are made to fit their respective rappers. Harry's parts sound reminiscent of the Harry Potter theme, and Luke's parts have melodies from the Star Wars soundtrack. And you know what? I like that. I can appreciate when a battle puts in the extra effort into making its own beat, as opposed to going out and using a pre-existing beat. Not that pre-existing beats are bad, not at all. I just like when a battle has its own personalization like that. It is very cool.
Harry Potter!
Alright, before we talk about the costume, I want to briefly talk about the background for a second. Just like the beat, the backgrounds for this battle were custom made by Garrett for the battle itself. And honestly, for a low-budget rap battle project, Harry's background doesn't look half bad. Sure, it is kind of low poly and the texturing could be a bit better, especially for the water, but for such a complex model such as the Hogwarts castle, the amount of detail that went into it is honestly impressive for what Garrett managed to pull off. I will mention that Garrett did get a lot better with designing backgrounds as the series progressed, as especially evident in the next battle, Captain Hook vs. Jack Sparrow, but as of what this battle does, it's not bad. It accomplishes what it needs to be, it's impressive for what it is, and it's certainly miles better than anything I could have ever made. Now on to the main subject. Garrett as Harry Potter. Well, he's no Daniel Radcliffe, I'll tell you that much. It's certainly not a bad costume by any means. It's got all the basics down. The round glasses, the scar, the red tie, the black robe, it's all there, and it's more than enough for me to instantly tell who he's supposed to be. It's a perfectly fine costume, but it's also not all that detailed either. It's clearly a graduation robe, which would explain the lack of the Gryffindor badge, the red lining, or the giant hood it's supposed to have. Not the worst Harry Potter costume, especially not compared to other examples, but it's also not the best either.
Versus Luke Skywalker!
Again with the background, while it is low poly, it's still a pretty decent recreation of what it's representing, this being the Lars homestead on the planet Tatooine. I especially like what it does with the sky. Having the purplish colors against a yellow and red sun fits surprisingly well, and overall makes for a decent looking background for Luke. Here we have Garrett's friend, who isn't listed in the credits for personal reasons, playing Luke Skywalker. I gotta say, I actually kinda like Luke's costume a little better than Harry's. It's an extremely simple costume, but it works enough to where he looks decently like Luke. Even the hair looks accurate to what he has in the films. It's a pretty good Luke cosplay for what a low budget can get you. I guess the only real thing I can criticize here is how Luke's lightsaber looks. The hilt doesn't look like any type of lightsaber I've seen from the films, especially not any that Luke owned, and the effect of the blade itself is... okay, it's not terrible, but it also looks really stiff. You'll see what I mean in a little bit.
Luke Skywalker, let's go!
When I receive my letter saying that I would be up against you in a bar fight.
Hey, where the hell is my British accent?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this Harry impression. I can tell Garrett is trying to put on a British accent like what Harry's supposed to have, but it sounds like it keeps slipping out between that and Garrett's real voice. It's especially harder to notice in the fast raps, which there are a lot of in this battle, so overall it just doesn't really sound like the accent is there half the time.
When I receive my letter saying that I would be up against you in a bar fight, I realize you will die in a blizzard because this wizard spits colder than carbonite.
Alright, not a bad start. I like how it starts with Harry saying he received a letter as an invitation to the battle, like how Harry received a letter of invitation to Hogwarts in the actual story. Good starting point, however, it's the next line I have more of a problem with. I get what it's trying to say, it means Harry spits cold lyrics, but the way it's structured makes it a bit clunky, like it's cramming too many words into one sentence. I think the way I would have done it is that I would have kept the carbonite comparison, but taken out the "you will die in a blizzard" part so that the line feels less cramped up.
This little muggle is in trouble, beating you won't even be a struggle. You step to me on the mic, I'll leave you burnt even worse than your uncle!
Nothing really to say about these lyrics, they're fine, it's just the way they were said that gets me. I don't know why the visual of Harry screaming these lines to the sky like he's shouting to the heavens is hilarious to me, it just is. To be fair, it's not that far from how Caps Lock Harry acts in the books, so there's that.
The chosen one, spitting portal tongue. You be poisoned with rhymes by the time I'm done. You've got no chance, you rebel scum. When I hit you with Expecto Patronum!
I have to admit, despite the iffy voice impression, I do really like the energy that Garrett gives into the role, and the flow is pretty spot on as well. This is something that's present in a lot of Garrett's battles, both old and new, and even battles from other series that Garrett just happens to be a part of. Even when something like the lyrics or the voice are off, he makes up for it tenfold with how much he dedicates his performance.
My name is Vegeta, and I'm from Vegeta. My dad's name's Vegeta, and I have a big eon. Did you hear me, bitch? I'm Vegeta, the strongest Super Saiyan. Watch me getting stronger and having a big eon.
He's a genuinely great rapper and performer, and you can tell he really does care about what he does, which I especially think works in this battle's favor. The lyrics are simple and punchy on their own, but it's Garrett's performance that makes them all the more effective. A good performance can really take you far.
Lyrical bonds with a wave of the wand, you be buried and gone like ball the like song.
Don't you have dead parents too? I mean, I guess guy who bullied a fellow classmate isn't nearly as bad as guy who slaughtered multiple children, but still.
Done fucked up, young Padawan, I'll obliterate you like Alderaan!
I feel like this line would have been more effective against Leia than it would have against Luke, since she was the one affected by Alderaan's destruction. That's not to say the line is bad, it is a relevant reference to make either way, I'm just saying.
You move things with your mind, your lame powers just aren't even a factor!
Harry, you rely on a fragile wooden stick that you would otherwise be virtually powerless without in order to do all of your magic tasks, which includes making things move. In other words, shut up.
I tell you and stop me, you don't even know me. As hard of the homies, your skills are below me. Well, I'm going to drop you harder than Darth Vader drops Obi-Wan Kenobi.
See, now that's a much more effective diss against Luke, since Obi-Wan had much more of a connection to him. Also, yeah, like I said, having great flow and coming up with great rhyme schemes is definitely one of Garrett's best strengths when it comes to rapping, and I feel this bit is a good example. It's a genuinely good rhyme scheme coupled with some great flow, and I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot more of that in the battle later on. We're off to a pretty good start.
The road leader will bury this fairy.
Or we could follow it up with Luke immediately calling him a fairy. That works too. Just right out of the gate.
Fairy, my aunt and uncle did die, but at least they loved me. Not even that dumb cloak could cover up the fact that you're a pussy, Harry.
Shockingly, this is the only Harry Potter rap battle I remember seeing actually make the "You're a Wizard, Harry" reference. You'd think with it being arguably the most famous quote to come out of the Harry Potter franchise that it'd be referenced more in some way. But no, even ERB disregarded making that reference in their Potter battle. So, points to this battle for remembering to reference it, I guess. I don't know.
Harry, everyone always protects you, dude. You'd be nothing without your dumb pixie crew.
Now, the point about Harry needing his friends is a good diss to make, but I feel it could have been done in a way without Luke calling Harry a pixie after he already called him a fairy and a pussy in the first 4 lines. That being said, I guess it is a less awkward way of wording it than
your own skills, Wingardium Leviosa. You're
nothing without your dumb pixie crew. Mud and blood is the only rhyme that you'll be spitting when I'm through. Ooh.
Oh yeah, another thing about this battle, be prepared to see a lot of background cameos from other characters in both the Harry Potter and Star Wars universes, all of which are either played by Garrett himself or his friends and family members. There were the Obi-Wan and Vader cameos from earlier, there's Ron and Hermione backing Harry up, and now this brief shot of Han Solo. I do like the idea, especially with how expansive both universes are and the number of iconic characters that come from them, and this can lead to some good background moments to keep the battle looking interesting. But with all that said, what the hell happened to Han's lighting to make him look so orange? I guess spending all that time on a boiling hot sand planet finally got to him.
You've never faced these skills before. This is not the fight that you're looking for. All of Gryffindor's gonna be scared for sure, but you hit the floor harder than Dumbledore!
So far, a lot of these lines have been the rapper saying they'll destroy the other, or that the other rapper will go down like insert character here. You'll be burnt worse than your uncle, you'll be buried like your father, you'll hit the floor harder than Dumbledore, and so on. They aren't bad lines on their own and can work if done effectively, like the Vader vs. Obi-Wan line I mentioned earlier. But I feel there are only so many times you can make these types of comparison lines before it starts to get repetitive. Balance them with other types of disses, like things the character did or was at least a significant part of. Otherwise it just basically turns into a who had the worst tragedies contest. Also Pink Dumbledore.
What's your name of the goblet?
Luke Skywalker said calmly.
You made a death wish. No amount of training can prepare you for this. I'm reckless. When the beat hits, I'll drop you like Cedric, you little weak bitch.
Just refer to what I said earlier.
Galaxy far, far, delivering hard bars. Into battle Jafar, both subpar.
Well, that's certainly a creative way to revert to Voldemort, who, by the way, is clearly just wearing Harry's robe except backwards. Also, like I said with the Carbonite line from earlier, the way this line is structured just feels too cramped up, like it's trying to fit too many syllables into one sentence. I'd say it's better to slow down on your regular lyrics while saving the fast rap parts only for certain moments. That way they're more effective. That being said, props to the Luke actor for actually being able to say all those syllables while still remaining on beat. That legitimately takes serious talent.
Luke's dropping nukes that leave more than a scar. The move that just you getting wrecked like the Death Star.
You know, at this point I should probably be making a counter for how many of these "you're going down like this thing" lines are there, but I'm not going to because, well, I'm not CinemaSins. Nobody wants to be CinemaSins.
12 parsecs to run through this prick. Take a fight elsewhere or get embarrassed. Swap with Quidditch while you're ahead or end up perished like your parents.
Luke, your father happened to be a tyrannical warlord who slaughtered dozens of people, and your mother got force choked and died from having her heart broken. You have zero right to talk when it comes to parents.
I expected more from you, but that disc was a pretty low blow. Well, not nearly as low as your sister goes down on Han Solo!
I mean, says the guy who ended up marrying and having kids with his best friend's sister. Yeah, I really have nothing to say about this part. It's fine for what it is.
Mad bro, and now you're jealous. You tried to lay with Leia. My rap's illegal.
Well, that's a weird way to transition to the next line. Hey dude, you literally committed incest with your own sister, and that's pretty gross. Also, check out my mixtape.
Incest is bad, but I don't think anything could be as awful as your prequel.
Oh, come on. Surely you can think of something worse than the prequel trilogy. I mean, they're not great or even good by any means, but I wouldn't say they're the worst given how much subpar Star Wars content Disney is pumping out these days. Then again, they're all still better than Cursed Child.
Reduce, reuse, recycle your jokes.
Awaken the Force, I'd rather use the Schwartz. Of Hogwarts agrees that your saga sucks.
Props to that Spaceballs reference, but I'm not really sure why that constitutes Hogwarts being spelled that way in the subtitles.
Between you and Han, I think your sister's had enough to be at that palace called a job with a slut.
Man, there are a lot of jokes being made about Leia in this verse, aren't there?
Finish sharp with a Raven's claw. You're annoying and not at all Hufflepuff.
Aye, Hans.
Seriously, dude, you and Jar Jar Binks both need to just shut the fuck up.
Simple way to end Harry's second verse, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'd still say it's a pretty solid way to end. Sometimes that's all a verse finisher needs to be. Simple, yet effectively punchy. Nothing to really criticize here.
You should lose 150 points for that verse. All you nerdy twerps just don't compare.
I have nothing to say about this line, so instead I'll say this. What the hell is Ron's reaction supposed to be here? Hermione's at least shaking her head in annoyance, which I can understand, but Ron is just kinda awkwardly holding his arms up in shock, defiance, surprise? I don't know, it just looks weird.
I was so damn disappointed in your raps, I should lock them back under the stairs!
Solid way of referencing Harry's abuse with the Dursleys without it sounding forced or drawn out. Again, nothing really to criticize here, I just like how this line was done.
You're so diverse, man. LOL, JK. I'm so far beyond your range, it's insane. It's clear your author doesn't really like change. I mean, look at your movies. They're all the damn same.
See, now that's how you effectively diss your opponent's author. Make the joke clear while still spinning it as a diss towards the person you're rapping against. This is a type of trope that I notice a lot in rap battles involving fictional characters, by the way. A lot of times they'll diss the character's author or franchise by saying, your creator did a bad thing, or your franchise isn't doing well at the moment, or things like that. Hell, even I did that exact same type of thing with my own rap battles. I'm as much to blame. You're allowed to make those types of jokes, but at the end of the day, it's still a rap battle, meaning you're supposed to be dissing one specific person and not their author or their franchise as a whole. So I will say doing it like this, where it comes right back around to directly dissing the opponent, is really clever. Well done for that. Trans rights, by the way.
Oh, the galaxy I was born to be, the force in me will destroy your sorcery. If you're whopping worse than that willow tree, I'm the lord, but verbally, you back down to me.
Like I said earlier, one of the writing aspects Garrett especially shines at is coming up with good rhyme schemes that fit with the flow of the battle, and this is another good example. Born to me, force in me, destroy your sorcery. Garrett's a good rap battle writer, what else can I say? Well, obviously I'll have to say more, this is a review of his work, but you get what I mean.
He walks, bro, is that attack of the nose? You guys wanna be E.T., did they just go ho?
Ooh, this must be getting serious. He's unzipped his robe.
Hold the phone, you leave Yoda alone! He was better than all of you little Houdini clones!
Oh, and Luke's now in his Return of the Jedi outfit. I will say this is a cool way to make the battle feel like it's upped itself in intensity, but you know what I think would have been a cool choice on top of that? Have Harry be in his Deathly Hallows outfit. That way both Luke and Harry will be in outfits from the last installments of their film franchises. Obviously, I'm not saying that the battle not doing that makes it bad in any way, certainly not. I just think it would have been a cool visual choice for Harry to match Luke changing his outfit as well.
Stop complaining for once, you twit! I mean, you're an even bigger bitch than I'm big!
No, that's not true. That's impossible.
If we fight, boy, you won't be who lives. I'll take a saber and split this half-blood.
Alright, yeah, see what I meant about the lightsaber effects? The way it's done here just looks really stiff, making it look more like a giant fuzzy glow stick than anything. Obviously, I'm not expecting industrial light and magic levels of visual effects, but there are programs specifically designed for that kind of stuff, most of which are offered for free and are pretty simple to use.
I've had enough of this Skywalker rhyme! I fight evil, I always survive!
Look at him go.
You want to compare your legacy to mine? You're the one who actually died!
You know what, that's actually a pretty good point. Hang on, didn't you die in the Deathly Hallows?
There's no hope for you, Luke! Even when you strike back, it's whack shit! Call this battle Return of the Stormtrooper cause you can't land a single damn hit!
So, from what I can tell, this bit is taking a page out of Tolkien vs. Martin's book by using movie title references to work into the lyrics themselves. Only this time, instead of them being used by the rapper to brag about themselves, Harry's using it against his opponent by spinning their own movie titles into disses, which I gotta admit is kind of a cool way to twist the concept. Plus, jokes about stormtroopers having terrible aim is always welcome, so that's an added plus.
I kill it with the lyrics, I don't even have a limit, so you better search your feelings in a minute that I win it. Like a boggle with a switches, you'll be fearing on my distance when I spit it, you'll finish it looking fucking ridiculous. I'm riddled with wits, even Tom knows I'm boss. My path is something you don't ever want to cross. I know you've already lost a hand, but I'm gonna have to hand you this loss!
See, now this is a great use of how fast rapping can be used in battles. Great rhyme scheme, consistent and catchy flow, appropriate use of references, great performance with a ton of energy, and a punchy finisher to top it all off. This is by and far my favorite part of the entire battle with how much I feel it works, and in my opinion, it's one of the best examples of the kind of, for lack of a better term, magic that an effective use of fast rapping can have on a battle. I don't even have any jokes to cap this off, just well done.
Facing me was of the highest risk. Your whole damn crew will get their asses kicked.
Hey, this is still a better looking Dumbledore fight than what Secrets of Dumbledore gave us.
My magic stick will blow your mind trick. I slayed you worse than the basilisk. My look spells for life. Your raps were too light. Got more like Dolph, you little sky talker.
Pretty good Darth Maul wordplay with this line. But you forgot to capitalize the D in Darth in the subtitles. That's it, battle ruined. Sorry guys, this one extremely minor mistake ruins a battle forever and makes it irredeemably bad because I said so. Deal with it.
Won't ever be another spitter harder than Potter, so frostbang rappers look I your father. It's impossible with how shit your flow is.
Smooth way to connect Harry's finisher with Luke's next verse. This battle's legitimately impressing me more and more with how well it's handling its movie references. It really does feel like it knows both franchises being used. Fucking bye.
Focus, your bonus is focus. You're not a worthy opponent, and every one of you knows it. I don't ever lose focus, and you'll be the one who's choking. Last minute, they sickly does out of ills and COVID.
I know I'm probably sounding like a broken record here, but again, this is some top-tier fast rapping, with a great flow and good rhyme schemes to boot. I have to give a huge shout out to Garrett's friend, who is honestly just as talented at rapping as Garrett himself. That being said, why the COVID name drop? That doesn't really have anything to do with either of these two rappers. It just makes for a boring, I spit sicker than insert disease here line.
Died, which is your fault, man. Listen from that bitch and just give in.
Who exactly are you talking about when you mean that bitch? Umbridge? Voldemort? Bellatrix? Fucking Selena Gomez? If someone could explain what this line means, that would be great. Otherwise, I'm totally lost.
Lock your ass up and ask a band, and no one would have to hear those shitty raps again.
I gotta say, Mandalorian Season 4 is looking fantastic.
I'm spitting it more insidious than Darth Sidious. You really are an idiot with those weak threats.
Just Control-C, Control-V the comment I said about Luke's flow earlier. It's just that good.
May the Force be strong with this Jedi tonight as I weasel my way in your wife's chamber of secret.
Well, Luke is dead, or at least missing his legs now. He didn't even try to block that attack. Also, Luke, if you really want to talk about fucking the opponent's girl, then let me remind you...
At least when I slither in a sister, she isn't mine!
We have not forgotten.
About a cadaver that's heck of a rapper, I'm light years ahead. Get it through your scarred head. You'll be thanking me for this defeat, you see. I'll join your family, cause you'll be seriously dead.
Kinda lame pun aside, I'd say this was a good way to close out this battle overall. I guess you could say this was a seriously good battle. This is pretty good. So that was Harry Potter vs. Luke Skywalker by Chaotic Rap Battles. And yeah, I'd say this is an enjoyable watch all around. Aside from some hiccups like the overuse of "I'll destroy you like this" character lines, or some lyrics feeling too cramped with too many words at once, it has more than enough good elements to make up for it. The references are solid, the punchlines are hard-hitting, the flow is some of the best I've heard in a fan-made battle, and it overall feels like a good usage of both these iconic characters. The visuals, while not high quality, are extremely impressive for what one guy was able to do, and makes for a fun and creative video to match this fun and creative battle. This battle retains a lot of the punchiness and charm that made the old chaotic rap battles enjoyable, while also being an improvement in a lot of aspects, and it still seems to be improving with each new battle. And as long as the series keeps going this route, I'll be more than happy to see it. I give Harry Potter vs. Luke Skywalker an 8 out of 10. There are a lot of plans I have for the channel in the future, including getting to finish writing the ERBP Season 2 ranking, reviewing a couple movies I've been wanting to talk about, maybe a collab video, I don't know. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy the things I have planned when they eventually come out. And I, for one, can't wait to show it. Thank you, and good night.